everyone. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and here's what's happening in LA this week. Did you know that the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People is America's oldest and largest civil rights organization? Los Angeles is now proud to be home to the first public square in the country to be named after it. City leaders gathered to celebrate this historical moment and the accomplishments achieved by the NAACP.
We are at the corner of 3rd and Mesa, right next to Mount Sinai Missionary Baptist Church. And today we're going to be dedicating this square as the NAACP Square.
NAACP, which is the biggest, the baddest, and the oldest civil rights organization. We're 114 years old. Tomorrow is our founding birthday, and this is our very first square in the country. What makes it so important is San Pedro is underrepresented within the Black community. It's less than 5% of African Americans that reside here. For the first time in history, our council member, Tim McOsker, has put up flags around the city that say Black History Month, bringing the awareness that there's a presence of a Black community and that Black History Month is important and it counts and it needs acknowledgement. It deserves acknowledgement.
When I first mentioned this to Dr. Bryan a few years ago, it was a dream because it had never been done in our country. But Dr. Bryan is a bulldog, as you probably know, and she holds on to something. But it took a team effort. We took our city council and our state senator. Everyone got involved in this to make it happen. And so for us to celebrate it and use the day as a springboard to let the community know who we are, that we're being recognized for who we are, we're so proud of that. And this is home for me. And so this is a very special day. And so I'm very, very excited about it.
Today was really history being made right in front of our eyes. And we often say, Los Angeles is the future, only sooner. This is the first public square to be named on behalf of the NAACP in the entire country. So proud for Dr. Cheyenne Bryan, Joe Gatlin, and so many others that made today possible.
This square will be something that's here forever, that every person of every race can drive by and not just understand the importance of a marginalized, disparate community such as the Black community, but also understand the history that we play in being everyone's history.
What's very important about us in the 1-5 is that we are very aware every day that we are one district, 5 beautiful communities, and even within communities, we are all together in this. So here in Black History Month, it's really important for us to acknowledge the accomplishments of our local community, both in our church community and our NAACP community. And so here, we're just acknowledging the many generations and history of the Black community here in San Pedro.
Walking and cycling surrounded by fresh trees is one of the many benefits the Chandler bike path will boast. This path connecting Burbank to North Hollywood will undergo a practical facelift, including murals, lighting, exercise equipment, and landscaping that will improve its accessibility and scenery for cyclists and pedestrians alike. Check it out.
We're here on the Chandler bike path. This is the stretch that connects Burbank to North Hollywood. It's on a former railroad right-of-way, and now it's a very vibrant place where the community comes to enjoy bicycling and walking. Some parts of it have fallen into a little bit of disrepair, so we're making a significant investment right now in upgrading the landscaping, the accessibility.
Not only are we going to beautify this place with landscaping and nice fresh trees that will bring a different atmosphere here, we're going to have murals, we're going to have lighting, we're going to just have exercise equipment, rubber floating, so if anything happens, nothing really gets broken there.
In years past, the part in Burbank seemed like it was a little more attractive. It was better maintained. And we're determined to make sure that that is no longer the case. So these investments will dramatically improve the quality of this resource on the Los Angeles side of the boundary.
Beautiful beautiful scenery. That's what we're going to bring to this project.
161 unhoused individuals will be able to have a roof over their heads thanks to the opening of Branford Village, the first tiny home village in Council District 6. The people behind this project want to create a sense of community by providing services and support that allows its future residents to get a fresh start.
Today, we are opening up Branford Village. This is our first tiny home village, the 11th one in the city of Los Angeles, and we hope to house 161 people.
What this does for the community around here is it will alleviate the amount of folks that you see out in our sidewalks. That means that our encampments in Council District 6 will reduce drastically.
The site that we are standing on right now used to be one of CD6's largest encampments here in the community of Sun Valley.
I've been doing this for about 20 years. After being formerly homeless myself, living on Skid Row, I've seen the ins and outs as a consumer and as somebody that's trying to help people. And I gotta tell you, the difference I'm seeing now is there's a creativity, there's an urgency, there's funding.
We're going to have our ADA clients first, then we're going to have our high-risk clients, and then everybody afterwards will be able to be housed in our program. There's a lot of ideas surfacing around the program as far as having game nights, as far as having movie nights, not just utilizing the space to just sit here. It's more so cultivating a family among our clients and among our staff members.
I'm inspired when I get to work with folks like I do at CD6, who have shown an enormous amount of courage, persistence, working through difficult situations to make sure that their constituents are not forgotten.
Opening a small business takes a lot of courage, effort, as well as continuous dedication. In Los Angeles, where most of the economy is made up of small businesses, Council President Paul Krikorian has created JEDI, a new program to give small businesses the resources and advice they need to continue operating and thriving. Take a look.
Small businesses here in Los Angeles are more than just the backbone of our economy. They really are virtually the entirety of our economy. In California, there's over 4 million small businesses. In Los Angeles, well over 90% of our businesses here in LA are small businesses. And unfortunately, too often, small business owners are so busy keeping their business running that they don't have time to come down to City Hall and speak to policymakers about what helps them or what's hurting them.
Right now I'm representing my business of Caravana Coffee Shop. We started 4 years ago. In the beginning here, there was construction in front of me, so I didn't have parking in the front. And then after that, COVID hit right after. So it's been a challenge for me, but this is what I love to do.
Across the city, this has been one of the most challenging times for small businesses ever in our lifetime. And so years ago, we initiated a new idea to create the Jobs and Economic Development Incentive Zones, or JEDI zones. And the idea is to bring the resources of the city to bear to improve the ability of these small businesses to thrive through things like facade improvement, through business counseling, by streamlining permitting, and doing other things that we can do to make it easier for these businesses to continue to thrive.
What I'm looking forward on the program for JEDI is, to get more street lighting, hopefully more parking situation, a little bit more settled. I know there's a lot of young people that still want to continue growing their own business and opening a place, but hopefully this JEDI program can help them with city permits. That was a big challenge as well, so hopefully JEDI can help them.
Today we're taking a tour around this area. We're talking to business owners about what is working, what they still need, what we could do better, and we're hoping to continue to improve this program and be able to uplift more of the small business community in LA.
If you want to learn more about the Jobs and Economic Development Incentive Zones program, visit ewddlacity.com. The Los Angeles Housing Department will hold webinars about new renter protections. The LA Civil Rights Department hosts Growing Justice, Stories in Black Hair, and the LA City Council votes to impose its anti-camping law in the West Side. These stories up next on City Beat.
The Los Angeles Housing Department is holding weekly webinars to provide an overview of the city's new renter protections. The new ordinances began February 1st, 2023, coinciding with City Council ending the local state of emergency. New changes include the expansion of just cause eviction protections, relocation assistance, and minimum threshold for failure to pay evictions. The LA Housing Department's one-hour webinars are open to the public and will provide info for both tenants and landlords. You can register for a webinar and get more info at housing.lacity.org. As part of the city's African American Heritage Month, the LA Civil Rights Department presented Growing Justice, Stories in Black Hair. Hosted by Capri Maddox, the event tackled issues of hair-based discrimination and toxic chemicals in beauty products marketed to Black consumers. The show featured a roundtable of Councilwoman Heather Hutt, Dr. Ashton Williams, and cancer survivor advocate Tia Tomlin-Harris, who shared stories from their personal experiences and research. The National Institutes of Health indicate a connection between hair products, such as permanent hair dye and chemical straighteners, with certain cancers. Studies also show that Black women have a 40% mortality rate from breast cancer, the highest of any ethnic group in the United States. To watch the presentation and find ways to get involved, check out civilandhumanrights.lacity.org. LA City Council voted to impose its anti-camping law in the West Side, banning sitting, sleeping, and storing property within 500 feet of certain sites. Tracy Park, councilwoman for CD11, supported the 4118 ordinance, which was expanded in 2022 to areas around schools and daycare centers.
We will not do enforcement until every individual living on the street has been offered the opportunity to come inside. It is also our moral obligation, and it is what we will do in my district.
Critics claim that 4118 criminalizes homelessness and forces unhoused people to move from block to block and disconnects them from services. Council voted 9-4 in favor, with Council members Yaroslavsky, Rahman, Harris-Dawson, and Soto-Martinez in dissent.
It's not clear that we're making credible offers of housing and services as we apply it across our 15 districts. It needs to be part, in my belief, of a coordinated engagement strategy.
To keep up to date on the work of LA City Council, visit lacity.gov/government.
As the epicenter of the entertainment industry, Los Angeles is home to many creative professionals. Otis College recently shared its report on the creative economy, highlighting the important contributions it makes on other sectors and the economy at large. Take a look.
The Otis College report on the creative economy is in its 16th year. It provides insight into the impact of creative sectors on the economy of Los Angeles and California.
We're here to both celebrate and take a deeper look at the creative economy. In some ways, we're looking at entertainment really bolstering the economy, carrying Los Angeles County, carrying the state. Today, the creative economy's direct impact is $507 billion. When you take into account the upstream and downstream effects, that's almost $1 trillion this past year.
The creative economy is fundamental to Los Angeles in so many different directions. And if you think about it, it's one of the areas of our economy that doesn't just support Angelenos, but actually influences and impacts the entire world.
The creative economy is incredibly dynamic and vibrant in Los Angeles and the state. It represents 15% of the state's overall economy. It's a huge dynamic economy. It has recovered from the pandemic faster than the economy at large. So, I mean, just in one specific example, the most dynamic growth is in the digital economy. So in digital creative entertainment, streaming, video games, social media.
At this point, we see the creative economy permeating on even non-creative sectors. When we look at something like virtual reality, we're seeing that go into manufacturing, into augmented reality in surgery, simulations for psychological assessment, military applications. It's pretty much everywhere throughout the economy.
I'm happy to announce we've recently signed a partnership with Netflix to create an opportunity for high school graduates to come to Otis for a 14-month marketing entertainment program where they'll receive a certificate. It's entirely tuition-free, and part of that program is after receiving their certificate, they'll receive 6 months of paid employment in an entertainment marketing firm doing work for Netflix.
I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone at Otis, the leadership, faculty, board, and students. Thank you for your insight and your inspiration that you provide, and thank you for playing such an extraordinary role in our city.
For more information, you can go to otis.edu/Netflix.
As part of the Black arts movement, Betye Saar is known for creating work that challenged racial and femininity stereotypes. El Pueblo hosted an event featuring a documentary about the artist and a Q&A with her. Attendees enjoyed a closer look at her life and accomplishments, as well as the chance to speak with her and learn about her experiences firsthand.
This is another exciting program that we're doing during Black History Month. Authors Study Club is hosting a film review of Betye Saar, who's a tremendous artist in our community. And this is a documentary about her life and her legacy. So we're here to celebrate not only Black history, we're here to celebrate Betye Saar, and we're here to celebrate coming together.
Tonight we're here to screen a movie on Betye Saar, who is an assemblage artist, Angelino, and is well known throughout most of the artistic world. Betye Saar's movie is entitled Ready to be a Warrior. What is her contribution? She has put together several art pieces that question the history and the relevance that is happening here in the city and across the nation.
Artists like Betye Saar are able to really break barriers. Through her work through the Black arts movement in the 1970s, she's been able to push against stereotypes and challenges with racism and femininity to really help break through.
The movie will talk about Betty's life in terms of what she has done artistically and how she has evolved as an artist, and that her work reflects the various experiences that have been prevalent in America during her lifetime.
Well, you know, listen, we have a multicultural, multi-ethnic environment, and it's important that we learn from each other. We know how important the arts is, not just for its aesthetic beauty, but it's a form of economic development. It's a form of bringing us together. And so this is a perfect way to do that at a time of the year when we celebrate the legacy of Black Americans.
I just want to encourage everybody to attend as many of these events as possible. It's really an exciting time for the city for African American Heritage Month. Some of them are live, some of them are on Zoom, and we just hope you can participate. And if you want more information about the Department of Cultural Affairs and other events that we have, please check out culturela.org, and we'd love to see you soon.
The Los Angeles Public Library's exhibit, Barrier Breakers, is an opportunity for attendees to learn about the players of the Negro Baseball League. Councilmember Curran Price welcomed young students from CD9 to discover this important part of U.S. and baseball history. This was to help keep the names and stories of these sport professionals alive and relevant.
We're here today at the Barrier Breakers exhibit at the JEDI Gallery and Central Library, where Council District 9 Councilmember Price has organized busloads of kids to come in and view the exhibit in our closing weekend. So we're really excited to have them here today. I think this exhibit is significant in that we're not only celebrating African American History Month, but the kids have an opportunity to see themselves in this exhibit. They can see how overcoming odds is so important, so that it makes them feel empowered, it makes them feel valued, it makes them feel important. So that's as much a part of this exhibit as anything else.
It's so important, I think, to show kids that there are all kinds of role models out there and that they can achieve even the impossible dreams. And these are examples of individuals who had the perseverance, skill, and stamina to be the best.
For me, being a part of the Dodger organization is just huge, period. Knowing that I was born and raised in Norman Park, Georgia, population 891, and to still be able to wear this jersey and make an impact in a community, it's important. And exposure is everything to me. And when kids come out of their communities and come to neighborhoods or libraries like this and see pictures, you're opening up a world to them that they may not otherwise be familiar with. And so inclusion is everything. Opportunity and inclusion. To once they have to see it, and the next they have to be included in it or allowed to participate in it. So, I mean, in today's time, I think that's really important to let them know that they can cross over racial lines, and they can cross over barriers and streets or financial hurdles and still be a part of their own success story.
We're just checking around, like seeing about Black history and like seeing what is it about and all that, like learning about stuff. I like being in this exhibit because when you're reading it, like it's boring. It's kind of like boring, but it's better like walking around, seeing all of that, all of the things behind it and stuff.
I played Little League Baseball as a kid at the public parks in Los Angeles. Whether or not you know about baseball or like baseball, it's a real example of how working together is important, having goals is important, not giving up is important, and being the best. And this exhibit really exemplifies those individuals who are champions.
In this week's featured story, our own Anita Bennett sits down with council members Curran Price, Marquise Harris-Dawson, and Heather Hutt for our annual roundtable on African American Heritage Month. In this wide-ranging discussion, the council members discuss the impact of Black representation in the wake of last year's controversy over redistricting.
A Freedom Festival, conversations on Black history, and health and wellness events. That's all been part of the African American Heritage Month celebrations here in the city of Los Angeles. What are some of the African American Heritage Month celebrations happening in the city?
Well, we're doing a whole range of activities. We've done some things in city council chambers. We recognized Herb Weston, former president, Yvonne Wheeler, current chair of the County Federation of Labor. So again, just a variety of activities to really celebrate the season and to make sure that folks understand the importance of recognizing our past, the present, and the future.
Why is it important that we still recognize this month?
If you live in Los Angeles and you appreciate Los Angeles isn't the city that it is. It isn't the creative capital of the world without the participation of Black folks. And so knowing that history, knowing how it came about, I think helps you appreciate the city more, but also it equips you to help us build a better city and the kind of city we all deserve to live in.
It's our identity. Los Angeles Black history is about seeing ourselves, seeing our contributions, like they said, seeing what we can do, and making sure that our children self-esteem is intact so that they know that they can be contributors also to what happens in Black history, to what happens in their community. But actually, as Black folks, we celebrate every day.
All the time, yes.
And, and while we certainly are celebrating it, and it's important for Black folks, it's also important for other folks to know what our contributions have been. And so it's a way for us to tell our story, to share our story, to celebrate it, but to educate others as well.
One of the exciting things about Los Angeles is that Black history isn't the domain of just Black people or the responsibility of only Black people. So, this weekend in the Valley, Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez is recognizing an African-American Little League team that won the championship in the 70s, an all-Black team out of Pacoima. And down in the harbor, at San Pedro, Councilmember McCosker just made one of the prominent intersections there, NAACP Square, because the city of San Pedro had a very strong, and still has a very strong, NAACP chapter. And so you see all across our city, there's a story to tell, and folks are telling it.
The city has only had 2 Black mayors. What does it mean now to have Karen Bass in the mayor's office?
Well, it's talk about joy. That was a joyful night for me to see her leadership get recognized on such a large scale. And so I think it means a great deal to the city, because now we're in a situation where the person who's best for the job doesn't have to be the right gender, the right race, from the right neighborhood. This is a working class black woman from South Central LA, but she is the best for the job and the people centered to the mayor's office.
This has been a lively conversation. Thank you all so much for coming in. Councilman Curran Price, Councilman Marquise Harris Dowson, and Councilmember Heather Hutt.
Join the LA Harbor International Film Festival. Enjoy the UCLA String Quartet concert or attend the exhibit Entanglements with Louise Bonnet and Adam Silverman. All this up next on Things to Do.
Join the 20th annual Los Angeles Harbor International Film Festival, a showcase of films reflective of the area's rich history. This 3-day festival is a non-competitive, non-juried festival with programming by invitation and referral. The festival kicks off with its educational initiative, Read the Book, See the Movie, a program that gives area students a chance to see a movie based on a classic book. Also featured this year, an Emerging Filmmakers Showcase, a Hollywood nostalgia tribute, and movies featuring stories of the people who make up Los Angeles' harbor area. Come to the Department of Cultural Affairs Warner Grand Theater in historic San Pedro to be a part of the 20th Annual LA Harbor International Film Festival, March 2nd through the 5th. Tickets are available at the box office. For more information, log on to laharborfilmfest.com. The LA Public Library invites you to Classical Music Saturday with musicians from the UCLA Gluck String Quartet. The ensemble is made up of top string players from the UCLA Herb Alpert School of Music. These talented musicians have performed master classes with acclaimed musicians, receiving honors in festivals and competitions performing around the world. The UCLA Gluck String Quartet features 2 violinists, a violist, and a cellist. Check out the free UCLA String Quartet concert on Saturday, March 4th at 2 p.m. at the West Valley Regional Branch Library in Reseda. Log on to lapl.org/events for more information. Don't miss the opportunity to see the first artist intervention at the Frank Lloyd Wright-designed Hollyhock House. The exhibit, Entanglements, is the first formal collaboration for LA-based artists Louise Bonnet and Adam Silverman, hosted at the city's premier UNESCO World Heritage Site. Known for her portraits of exaggerated proportions and grotesque features, Bonnet continually explores emotions of melancholy, loneliness, nostalgia, and grief in her work on canvas and paper. Silverman's ceramics and sculptural vessels bring an architect's sense of structure to his objects and utilizes personal and experimental techniques to glaze and fire his works. The paintings and ceramics are installed in the Hollyhock House public rooms where owner Aline Barnstall's celebrated art collection was once on display. See Entanglements, Louise Bonnet and Adam Silverman at the Hollyhock House now through May 27th. To get more information and to reserve tickets, log on to hollyhockhouse.org. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.